ancient customs of hospitality were insanely important because A, they were life-saving, and B, it showed it was a religious duty in almost all cultures, sacred views on hospitality, and it showed that you were not uncivilized, right? So like the Bedouin have hospitality customs and things like this, and the Greeks did, the Arabs did, everyone who we would consider to be a civilized people have these things because they are really genuinely important. Like if you've been traveling for 50 miles that day or something, to sleep in a house or in a tent and to be given food and water, that literally is life-saving, and also it's decent. It shows you're not a monster. It shows you are, it's ennobling. And they would give gifts and things like this as parting gifts and things like this. There's a whole ceremony and rituals around hospitality. You see it literally as far back as the day dot that this is the case. It's in the Iliad, it's in the Epic of Gilgamesh, it's in all of these things where hospitality is a genuinely important thing. It's one of the markers of civilization, really.
Yeah, definitely.
And we don't understand it in the modern day because everyone is just, I'll just get in my car and drive home. Nobody needs hospitality, but it's in the ancient world, it's unbelievably important.
Yeah, if someone knocked on your door and said, "I'm walking from Liverpool to Penzance, I've got no food or shelter of my own. Can I stay somewhere on your property and can you give me a bit of food and water?" You'd be like, "No."
What are you doing?
Are you joking? Get off my property. But yeah, in the
why are you doing that?
Yeah. You joke, this is a joke, right?
Yeah.
This is a
prank.
That's
totally normal.
Yeah, so it's funny you mentioned the Iliad, because in the Iliad and the Odyssey as well, sort of the gods of, going back to the classical Grecian world, or before even, the gods of hospitality are extremely important.
Yep.
To share your table with someone is sort of one of the most pious things you can do.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely, sort of a religious obligation.
And you give them parting gifts and things like this. And it's very interesting. It's nice, actually, but it's very alien to us.
It shows the measure of your humanity that you would do that. It's interesting you should mention the Bedouin. Can't possibly do an epoch without me mentioning Lawrence of Arabia. But the other day I was rereading it once again, and there's a bit where, just before the Arabs revolt against the Ottoman Turk, Enver Pasha, the leader of the Young Turks, the leader of the Ottoman war effort, takes a trip down into Medina, into the heart of Arabia, literally days or weeks before they revolt.
Yeah.
And everyone around Faisal, the son of the Sharif of Mecca.
Yeah, but that was tense.
They kept saying to him, just out of earshot of Enver Pasha, "Should we kill him now? Let us kill him now." And he said, "I can't. The laws of hospitality say I cannot do it." That's how strong it is.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the leader of your bitterest enemy.
Yeah. The guy you're about to try and kill is right here, but I'm not allowed to kill him because he's a guest in my house.
Yes.
So it's literally these customs run very, very deeply in parts of the world where they're necessary.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing. You're in the middle of the desert. Yeah, you probably do need water.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's just another one of the things we sort of abandoned in our world.
So the fact that the Mongols, the Huns, have customs of hospitality is to their credit.
Right, yeah. So, these aren't complete, monsters.
They're not cave-dwelling savages.
Right, yeah.
They're just barbarians.
Yeah. So this embassy goes up, and eventually they reach this sort of royal village, and there's some great descriptions of it. As I say, everything's just sort of wooden palisades, and each of Attila's wives, of which he's got many, maybe dozens,
of course he does,
have got their own. Each one's got their own sort of abode, their own sort of mini palace. And depending on how senior they are in his harem, their house is a bit bigger and better. Until eventually they got to sort of the most senior queen, and they go into her house, and she's really nice.
Yeah.
Apparently she's really nice, and she even hugs them. It says the most a completely innocent embrace, and that's not really how Romans or Byzantines do things. That's over familiar.
Oh yeah.
You wouldn't do that. The Empress of Constantinople wouldn't hug anyone. Can you imagine?
No. probably be put to death for touching her.
Right, yeah.
You know?
And yeah, like her table and even her shoes are sort of all covered in gems, and everything at her table is golden.
Yeah.
But the house itself is made of wood. Anyway, eventually they get to the sort of the inner sanctum, Attila's own home. It doesn't seem like it's described. Oh, they say everything gets more and more ornate and elaborate until you got to Attila, who himself wore plain clothes, plain clothes.
Now, this was one of the most fascinating things about Attila for me, because they describe him as just drinking from a wooden cup.
Yeah. Wooden bowls and cups, and for him,
totally normal, boring, basically peasant wear. It's like, that's really weird, isn't it? Like, everyone around him is literally covered in jewels, drinking from gold and silver chalices. And, they literally have the finest of everything. But Attila himself, and that to me, though, speaks of real, genuine power, right? So Attila's like, I don't need gold. I don't need silver. I don't need gems. I'm fine with the wooden cup because everyone does what I say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't need to show people that I don't need to show people my wealth,
Yeah, absolutely.
You're all wearing it, is basically.
And I think it's very deliberate, a very calculated thing, actually.
Quite possibly.
Because there's another story Gibbon tells us where, another comparison, he sort of endlessly compares Attila with Genghis. He says, Genghis Khan didn't quite do that, but what he did do is there was sort of this one old rug that Genghis had that was just sort of the plain sort of black rug that he owned when he was first raised to be a tribal leader out on the Mongolian steppe, back when he was just Temujin, before he was the great Khan. And he kept that rug, sort of a really plain rug, the whole rest of his life. And he would, when he met foreign embassies, it was sort of on this rug where you might expect it to be
strangely sentimental.
Yeah. And in the case of Genghis Khan, also didn't wear particularly gold and silver and bejeweled things. Very pointedly to say, I am a steppe person. I came from absolute poverty, real genuine, like living by the seat of your pants, going hungry a lot, level poverty. That's who I am. That's where I came from. And the fact that I'm not covered in gems and gold, that's what I'm saying by doing that.
Yeah.
And it seems Attila had the same thing.
Yeah. There's a kind of authenticity to it, right?
Yeah,
where it's if you need to wear all of the gold and jewels, then that sounds to me like you're compensating for something, right? You're covering up a deficiency of some sort. But Attila's just like, no, I don't need anything. I've just got my wooden cup to drink my drink out of. I don't care. I'm in charge, and everyone knows I'm in charge, and there's just simply no questioning it. So why would I bother? I don't need status symbols.
Right, yeah.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah. Well, I think quite a lot of Englishmen think it's really bad form.
It's ostentatious.
So, yeah. If you just look at someone like Mr. T, or 50 Cent, wearing loads and loads of gold or loads and loads of diamonds all the time, cover yourself in diamonds. It's like, what kind of chip on your shoulder have you got that you feel the need to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't wear any jewellery at all.
Like sort of, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. But that's why I always liked Attila. That there's this groundedness about the man, actually. Where he's not like a maniac. He's a barbarian. He does barbarian things, but he's not like weird, right? So like there's this just kind of grandness about Attila that I've always admired. Actually,
there's this other thing which isn't in the vein of a Roman emperor, but it is more in the vein of a rapper or somebody who wears lots and lots of gems and gold on their actual person at nearly all times. Is that you're terrified that it could your wealth, your accumulated wealth, could be taken from you, physically taken from you at any moment, or you might have to flee.
Yeah,
because
you
you're a
have
criminal.
the wealth on you.
And you need to absolutely have gems and gold on you.
Yeah. But Attila doesn't worry about that.
He's not going to be running from anybody.
Yeah.
You run from him. He's the one who knocks.
Yeah. That's right. That's literally it.
So I don't need to be wearing diamonds all the time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
And I'm literally going to kill you and take yours.
Yeah. So when they get to Attila's inner sanctum, it's actually quite understated.
Humble.
To watch the full video, please become a premium member at lotuseaters.com.